putting bags on the fruits that are getting ripe that I can reach. Um, this tree is loaded this year. This is the Desert King right here. This fig tree here. Um, yeah, I've got quite a few of them bagged, and there's some way up there in the canopy, but I don't have a ladder tall enough to get up there, so I'm not gonna. I, I'm not even gonna try to bag those or try to pick them. There's some really nice ones right there, way up there, but I can't get to them. And the birds got to eat too, so there's another good one right there. Look at that. But yeah, some of these are getting really nice and big. Like that one right there is really nice. Look at that. This is the Desert King variety. This is one of the earliest figs that we get in the season. So, and then after that, the Violet de Bordeaux kind of comes a little bit later on, and the Deanna starts ripening figs pretty soon too. I think some of these are getting really big, and these are excellent figs right here. These are some of the best, I think, in my opinion. But these have a way to go. They get even bigger. Look at that. They're getting there. But they get bigger, and this one's loaded this year. Last year, I feel like it didn't give as many figs, but I've been staying on top of like fertilizing them. I've been pretty consistent with the fertilizing, so I think that's why I think that's why it's doing so good this year. Looks really healthy. It's just pushing a lot of growth, and it's also, man, look at that. That's just like a cluster of figs right next to the fence. It's crazy. I can see all those right there. Right there. Everywhere. All over the place. Figs. Um, I just redid this area over here. I cleared it out because it was starting to get all overgrown. There was a tree right in the middle of these two lemon trees, and I dug it up out of the ground and I moved it because it's never done anything for us, and it was just time to clean this area up a little bit, make it a little bit nicer. I trimmed up the lemon trees because they were starting to hang way too low. Especially this one. This one was like touching the ground. It was it was just really bad. So sacrificed a little bit of production, but I think for the overall health of the tree and for ease of access for harvesting, this will be way better. I have like a little pathway here. I made these berms. I made the soil kind of lower over here. That way I can just throw the garden hose in there and flood them. I might try to level it out a little bit with like sand or something. Just something that drains really well. That might go out to the desert and just like go get some sand, load up my truck, and just dump a bunch of sand in here, just to kind of level it out just a little bit, not too much. And then I might do some mulch on top of that. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, they're looking good. Everything else is looking pretty good. I trimmed up that mandarin orange tree. because it was looking all shitty. It didn't flower this year. So I figured, well, if it didn't flower, might as well, reset it because it was not looking very good. After it was loaded with fruit this year, but after we harvested all the fruit, um, it's like it went into shock. I don't know, it like went into shock or something, and so I dug around the base and I like added some fertilizer, some. I gave it some like water soluble, like instant fertilizer, but then I also added around the perimeter of it. I added some. I think it was bone meal. Added a couple handfuls, just sprinkled it like around the area, not too close to it. And that stuff is slow release, so it should hold it over. Kind of have some reserve for later. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good right now. I have a small shipment of plants coming in, so I'm waiting. I planted this little mangosteen tree. This is a purple mangosteen. I had this one growing in a pot, like a 5 gallon pot. I ordered it in the mail last year, like in the summertime. And it hasn't grown very much. It's maybe grown 2 or 3 inches taller. Those two newest leaves there, they just barely popped up, a few weeks ago. And I wanted to check the root system on it, so I kind of pulled it out of the pot just to check, and it was, the roots were already like circling the pot, but the tree is really small, so I was like, fuck, might as well just plant it, see what happens. Mangosteens are not known to grow down here in California, but hey, it's worth a shot. It made it through the winter. We had some nights where it was down in the 40s, and this tree handled it beautifully. It never once, it didn't suffer or anything. It actually did really well over the winter. So I know that mangosteens are just notoriously difficult and impossible to grow in California, but I think it's worth it to keep trying. I've never tried growing mangosteens, so maybe I'll get lucky, but probably not. But it's cool. It's interesting. It's cool to just try it. I probably should have just kept it in a pot and like buy a greenhouse and just keep it in a greenhouse, but I'm not really into that. Not right now, anyway. So here's a little mango, an actual mango seedling. This was just like a store bought mango. It was good enough, it tasted good. Didn't have any fiber or anything. It seemed like a pretty decent quality mango. If I had to guess, it was probably like a Keat mango. So I just grew the seed. I just planted the seed and it's growing. So looking forward to that. Hopefully it makes it. It's in a nice little shaded spot. So this is a star fruit. I just planted it a few months, like 2 months ago. And yeah, it's got like all this like leaf burning and shit, but I think it's all right. It's pushing new growth, like all this little stuff here, you know, little. Just a small tree. So it's kind of cool. I'm excited. I'm stoked on it. Star fruit's not like my favorite fruit or anything, but it's something different that other people are not growing down here, so I think it's worth it. Anyway, this is just making a quick video. Kind of rehabilitated this area a little bit, cleared out some dead branches that were in here on this big, big grapefruit tree. And just cleared up. There was a bunch of weeds and grass and bullshit, so cleaned up that little fig tree. Had a bunch of like low hanging branches that were crawling around on the floor, so I cut those off just so I could clean up easier. But yeah, it's looking good out here.